Hello! Hello and welcome! Welcome to the Speaking Reset. My name is Jimmy, and I am so happy that you are here with me today. This audiobook is for you. Yes, for you. Whether you are just beginning your journey with English, or whether you have been learning for a few years, but still feel nervous when you have to speak with customers, this audiobook is made for you. Today, we are going to talk about one very important topic. One topic that can change your life, your job, and your confidence. That topic is customer service English. How to speak with customers in a professional, clear, and confident way. Now, I want you to take a deep breath before we begin. Yes, right now. Take a deep breath in and breathe out slowly. Good, because I want you to feel relaxed. I want you to feel comfortable, because when you are relaxed, you learn better. When you are comfortable, your brain opens up and holds on to new information more easily. This audiobook is not going to rush you. We are going to go slowly. We are going to speak clearly. We are going to repeat important phrases many times so that they go deep into your memory. And by the time we reach the end of this audiobook, you will feel much more confident about using English with customers, clients, and colleagues at work. I have worked with thousands of English learners from all over the world, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from the Philippines, from Nigeria, from Brazil, from Vietnam, from Egypt, from Indonesia, and many, many other countries. And every single student I have worked with had the same fear, the same worry. They were afraid of making mistakes. They were afraid of saying the wrong thing. They were afraid that the customer would not understand them or that they would not understand the customer. And I want to say something very important to you right now. That fear is completely normal. Every single person who speaks English as a second language has felt that fear. Even people who are now very good at English, they felt that fear too at the beginning. But here is the truth. The truth is that most customers are kind. Most customers are patient. Most customers just want to be helped. They do not need perfect grammar from you. They do not need a perfect accent. They just need to feel that you care about them, that you are listening to them, and that you are trying to help them. And that is exactly what we are going to practice today. So here is how this audiobook works. We have 10 chapters. Each chapter will focus on one important area of customer service English. We will learn vocabulary. Those are words and phrases. We will learn how to use those phrases in real situations. And we will practice with example conversations so that you can hear how real English sounds in real customer service moments. I want you to listen to this audiobook as many times as you need to. Please, do not feel like you must understand everything the first time. Listen once, then listen again and again. Each time you listen, you will notice new things. You will remember more phrases. You will feel more comfortable. Are you ready? I hope so, because chapter 1 is about to begin, and I promise you, by the end of this chapter, you are going to feel more confident already. Let us begin. Chapter 1, Building Your Confidence. The Mindset of a Great Customer Service Speaker. Welcome to Chapter 1. In this chapter, we are not going to start with vocabulary right away. We are going to start with something even more important. We are going to talk about your mindset. What is a mindset? A mindset is the way you think. It is the collection of beliefs you carry in your head about yourself and about what you can or cannot do. And I want to tell you something very clearly. Your mindset about speaking English is one of the most powerful things that will determine how fast you improve. So let us talk about the mindset of a great customer service speaker. The first thing I want you to understand is this. You do not need to be perfect. Say that with me in your mind right now. I do not need to be perfect. I just need to be helpful. I just need to be clear. I just need to try. Many non-English speakers get stuck because they think they must speak like a native English speaker before they can be good at customer service. but that is simply not true. Think about the best customer service experience you have ever had in your life. Maybe it was with someone in a shop, or on the phone, or in a restaurant. What made that experience good? Was it because the person spoke with a perfect accent? Probably not. It was good because the person was warm. It was good because the person listened to you. It was good because the person made you feel valued and respected. That warmth, that care, that respect, those things come from inside you. They come from your attitude. And the good news is, those things do not require perfect English. Now, I want to share with you 3 very important beliefs that every great customer service speaker holds in their mind. These are the beliefs that will help you perform well, even when you are nervous, even when you do not know a word, even when a customer says something you did not expect. Belief number 1, I am here to help, and that is enough. When you walk into work, when you pick up the phone, when you start a chat with a customer, remind yourself, my job is to help this person. That is it. That is my one goal. When you focus on helping, you stop focusing on your fear. And when you stop focusing on your fear, your English naturally becomes better. Belief number 2, mistakes are part of learning, and customers understand that. I want you to stop being afraid of making a grammar mistake in front of a customer. Most customers will not even notice small grammar mistakes. And if they do notice, most of them will not care as long as they can understand you. In fact, when customers see that you are trying your best, most of them will be even more patient with you, not less patient. Belief number 3, every difficult conversation is making me better. When you have a hard conversation with a difficult customer, or when you do not know a word, or when you have to ask someone to repeat themselves. Those moments are not failures. Those moments are your classroom. Every difficult conversation is teaching you something new. Every uncomfortable moment is building your skills. Now, I want to talk about something called nervous energy. When you have to speak English at work, especially with customers, you will probably feel some nervousness. Your heart might beat faster. Your hands might feel a little bit shaky. Your mouth might feel dry. This is normal. This is your body preparing you to do something important. The key is to use that nervous energy in a positive way. Instead of saying to yourself, I am so scared, I am going to make mistakes, say to yourself, my body is getting ready. I am going to focus. I am going to help this customer well today. Now, I want to give you a simple but very powerful tool for managing nervousness in a customer service situation. It is called the 3-second pause. Before you speak, before you answer a customer's question, give yourself 3 seconds. Take a breath. Let your brain organize the information, and then speak. 3 seconds does not seem like much time, but it is enough time to think more clearly, to calm down slightly, and to choose your words more carefully. You might feel like 3 seconds is too long. You might worry that the customer will think something is wrong. But in reality, a short pause before speaking actually makes you sound more thoughtful and professional. It makes you sound like someone who is taking the customer's question seriously. So use that pause. It is your friend. Now let us talk about the physical side of speaking professional English. How you stand, how you breathe, and how you use your voice all affect how confident you sound and how clearly customers can understand you. Let us talk about posture first. Posture means the way you hold your body. When you stand or sit up straight, your lungs have more space. And when your lungs have more space, you can breathe more deeply. And when you breathe more deeply, your voice is stronger and clearer. Good posture also makes you feel more confident. It is not just a physical thing. It is a psychological thing. When your body is in a confident position, your brain actually starts to feel more confident too. Now, let us talk about your voice. Your voice is your most important tool in customer service. The speed, the tone, and the volume of your voice all affect how customers feel when they speak with you. Let us start with speed. If you speak too fast, customers will not understand you. If you speak too slowly, It can feel strange or uncomfortable. The right speed for customer service English, especially when you are speaking with people of different backgrounds, is a little bit slower than normal conversation. Not very slow, just comfortably slow. Slow enough that every word is clear. Slow enough that the customer has time to process what you are saying. Now let us talk about tone. Tone means the feeling in your voice. Your voice can sound warm, cold, happy, bored, excited, or tired. In customer service, you want your tone to be warm and professional at the same time. You want the customer to feel that you are genuinely interested in helping them. You want the customer to feel that they are not bothering you. Now, I want to practice something with you. I am going to say a sentence 2 different ways. I want you to notice how the tone changes the feeling. Here is the first way. "Hello, how can I help you?" said in a flat, uninterested voice. Here is the second way. "Hello, how can I help you today?" said with a warm smile in the voice. Did you feel the difference? The words are almost the same, but the feeling is completely different. In customer service, that feeling is everything. And here is something very important. Even if you are speaking on the phone, customers can hear the smile in your voice. It sounds strange, but it is true. When you smile while you are speaking, even on the phone, your voice sounds warmer and more positive. So always smile when you speak with a customer. Now, let me give you your first set of confidence phrases. These are phrases you can use at the beginning of any customer interaction to start on a positive note. I will say each phrase, and then I will pause for you to repeat it in your mind. Hello? Welcome. How can I help you today? Good. Now say it again. Feel the words in your mouth. Feel the smile in your voice. Good morning. It is great to see you. How can I assist you? Notice the word assist. Assist means help. Assist is a more professional word than help, and it is often used in customer service. How can I assist you? It sounds very professional. Hello, thank you for calling. What can I do for you today? This one is for phone calls. Thank you for calling. This small phrase immediately shows the customer that you appreciate their time. And appreciation is a very powerful thing in customer service. Hi there. Welcome. I am here to help. What do you need today? I am here to help. Those 4 words are simple but very powerful. They communicate to the customer that you are ready, that you are willing, and that they have come to the right place. Now, there is one more thing I want to talk about in this chapter, and that is the topic of making mistakes in real time while you are speaking with a customer. Sometimes you will say the wrong word. Sometimes you will use the wrong tense. Sometimes you will realize mid-sentence that you do not know how to finish what you started saying. This happens to everyone. Even native speakers make mistakes. The question is not whether you will make mistakes. The question is how you will handle them. Here are some phrases you can use when you make a mistake or need to correct yourself. Sorry, let me say that again. This phrase is simple and professional. It signals to the customer that you are correcting yourself, and it gives you a moment to organize your thoughts. I am sorry, I meant to say, followed by the correct information. For example, I am sorry. I meant to say that your order will arrive on Friday, not Thursday. Let me rephrase that. Rephrase means to say something in a different way. This is a more advanced phrase, but it is very professional. When you say, let me rephrase that, it shows the customer that you are paying attention to your own words and making sure the information is accurate. These correction phrases are your safety net. They protect you from feeling embarrassed when you make a mistake, and they keep the conversation moving forward professionally. All right, we have covered a lot of ground in Chapter 1. We talked about mindset. We talked about the 3 key beliefs of great customer service speakers. We talked about managing nervous energy. We talked about posture, voice, and tone. And we learned our first set of professional phrases. In Chapter 2, we are going to go deeper into the practical side of starting a customer conversation. We are going to talk about greetings, about opening lines, and about how to make an excellent first impression every single time. But before we go there, I want you to do something. I want you to take a moment and think about one customer service situation from your own life or work. One time when you had to speak English with a customer. Think about what went well. Think about what you would do differently now after what you have learned in this chapter. Just take a moment and think about that. Ready? Chapter 2 is coming up next. Chapter 2, Greetings and First Impressions, starting every conversation right. Welcome back. I am so glad you are still here. We are in Chapter 2 now, and this chapter is about something incredibly important. It is about the first few seconds of a customer interaction. Have you ever heard the expression, first impressions last? It means that the way someone feels about you at the very beginning of a meeting tends to stay with them for a long time. The first impression you make on a customer is extremely powerful. It can set the tone for the entire conversation. It can make the customer feel comfortable and welcome, or it can make them feel unwelcome and ignored. And here's the good news. Making a great first impression in English is not complicated. You do not need to say something brilliant or clever. You just need to be warm, clear, and ready to help. Let us start with in-person greetings. These are greetings you use when a customer walks into your store, your office, your clinic, or wherever you work. The most important rule of an in-person greeting is this: acknowledge the customer as soon as possible. Acknowledge means to recognize, to notice, to let the customer know that you see them. Even if you are busy with something else, even if you are helping another customer, you can still make brief eye contact and give a small smile or a quick nod to let the new customer know. I see you. I will be with you soon. That small act of acknowledgement can make a huge difference. Now, let us practice some in-person greeting phrases. Good morning. Welcome. How can I help you today? Good afternoon. Come right in. What can I do for you? Hello, welcome. Are you looking for something specific today or just browsing? Notice that last phrase. Are you looking for something specific or just browsing? Browsing means looking around without a specific goal. This phrase is very useful in a shop or store because it helps you understand what kind of help the customer needs. Some customers know exactly what they want and they need you to help them find it quickly. Other customers are just looking around and they do not want to be pushed. Asking this question at the beginning shows that you understand both types of customers. Now, let us talk about the timing of a greeting. When should you greet a customer? The answer is, as soon as possible. The moment a customer comes within a comfortable distance, and that means roughly 2 to 3 meters or about 10 feet, you should make eye contact and begin your greeting. Do not wait. Do not look busy on purpose to avoid greeting them. Do not let them stand there feeling invisible. Nothing makes a customer feel worse than being ignored. And nothing makes a customer feel better than being noticed and welcomed quickly. Now, I also want to talk about what not to say. There are some common greeting mistakes that many customer service workers make, even native English speakers. I want to make sure you know about these mistakes so you can avoid them. Mistake number 1, saying, "What do you want?" This sounds rude in English. Even though it is technically a question, it sounds aggressive and impatient. Never say this to a customer. Mistake number 2, saying only yes with no other words. This one-syllable answer, when a customer approaches you, feels cold and unwelcoming. Always add more warmth to your greeting. Mistake number 3, greeting too informally in a professional setting. For example, in a very casual situation, it might be fine to say, "Hey, what's up?" But in most professional customer service environments, that is too informal. It is always safer to use a standard, warm, professional greeting. Now, let us move on to telephone greetings. Many of you work in jobs where you need to answer the phone and speak with customers over the telephone. This is often more difficult for English learners because you cannot see the person. You cannot read their face. You cannot use body language. Everything depends on your words and your voice. Let me give you a clear structure for answering a business telephone call. There are 4 parts to a great telephone greeting. Part 1, say hello or good morning or good afternoon. This opens the conversation and establishes a warm tone. Part 2, say the name of your company or organization. This tells the customer they have reached the right place. Part 3, say your own name. This personalizes the call and makes it feel more human. Part 4, offer your help. This signals that you are ready and willing. Let me put all 4 parts together for you. Good morning. Thank you for calling Global Solutions. This is Jimmy speaking. How can I help you today? Say that with me in your mind. Good morning. Thank you for calling. Company name. Your name. How can I help you today? Let us try another example. Hello. Thank you for calling City Health Clinic. My name is Sarah. How can I assist you? Good afternoon. You have reached Metrobank customer service. This is David. What can I do for you today? Now I want you to notice something. In each of these examples, the person starts with a greeting, then acknowledges the customer's action of calling, then introduces themselves. This structure is very professional and immediately creates a warm, organized impression. Let me now give you some additional phrases for the beginning of a phone call that are very common in professional settings. Thank you for your patience. This phrase is often used when you have to put a customer on hold, or when they have been waiting for a while. Thank you for your patience. It is a beautiful phrase because it acknowledges the customer's effort and shows that you respect their time. I am sorry for the wait. If the customer had to wait before you answered, this simple phrase goes a long way. It shows awareness and responsibility. I am happy to help you with that. This phrase is wonderful because it uses the word happy. When you say you are happy to help, you are telling the customer that helping them is not a burden, that it is actually a pleasure. Customers love hearing this. Now, let us talk about online greetings. More and more customer service is happening online, through chat, through email, through social media. And the greeting you use in writing is just as important as the greeting you use when speaking. In a live chat greeting, you want to be quick and warm. Hello, welcome to our chat. My name is Jimmy. How can I help you today? Hi there, I'm here to help. What can I do for you? In an email greeting, you want to be a little more formal. Dear Mr. Johnson, or Dear Miss Lee. These are formal greetings for emails. Hello, Anna is slightly less formal, but still professional. Hi, alone without a name, is fine for casual internal emails, but avoid it in customer-facing communication. Now, I want to talk about something very specific. What to do when you do not understand a customer's name. This happens a lot. A customer says their name and you cannot catch it, or you are not sure how to spell it. This is completely normal. The professional thing to do is to ask politely for clarification. Here are some phrases for that situation. I am sorry. Could you spell that for me, please? This is clear, direct, and polite. I apologize. I did not catch your name. Could you repeat that, please? This is also very good. Would you mind spelling your name for me? I want to make sure I have it right. This is excellent because you are giving the customer a reason for your request. You want to make sure you have it right. This tells the customer that you care about accuracy. Let me also talk about what to do when you need to get a customer's attention in a polite way. For example, if you are serving one customer and another customer is walking toward you, or if you need to interrupt a customer who is speaking. In English, there are some very polite ways to get someone's attention without being rude. Excuse me, just one moment, please. This phrase is perfect when you need to pause one conversation to briefly address something else. I am sorry to interrupt, followed by your request. For example, I am sorry to interrupt, but I just need to confirm one detail with you. If I may, is a very formal but very elegant way to politely interrupt or add to what someone is saying. Now let us look at a full example conversation. I want you to read this slowly in your mind and feel the natural flow of a professional greeting. Customer walks in. Jimmy says, "Good morning. Welcome to Premier Travel Agency. I am Jimmy. Is there something I can help you with today?" Customer says, "Yes, hi. I am looking for information about holiday packages." Jimmy says, "Wonderful. You have come to the right place. Please have a seat, and I will be happy to walk you through our best options. Can I get your name, please?" Customer says, "It is Hassan." Jimmy says, "Great to meet you, Hassan. Let me pull up our current packages for you." Notice a few things about that conversation. Jimmy used the customer's name as soon as he learned it. Using a customer's name is one of the most powerful things you can do in customer service. It makes the interaction feel personal. It makes the customer feel seen and valued, not just as a customer, but as an individual person. Also notice that Jimmy said, "You have come to the right place." This phrase is wonderful because it immediately reassures the customer that they are in the right hands, that their need can be met here. It is a small phrase, but it builds enormous trust. And notice the phrase, "I will be happy to walk you through." Walk you through means to explain something step by step, to guide someone through a process or information. "I will walk you through our packages." This is a very professional and helpful phrase. Here are some more useful first impression phrases I want you to remember. Please make yourself comfortable. This phrase is used when a customer sits down, especially in an office or waiting area. It creates a welcoming atmosphere. Take your time. There is no rush. This is especially good for customers who seem nervous or unsure. It relaxes them and shows that you respect their pace. "We are very glad you came in today." This phrase communicates genuine appreciation for the customer's visit. Is this your first time visiting us? This question is wonderful because it helps you understand the customer better. If it is their first time, you know you need to explain more background information. If they are a returning customer, you can build on that relationship. All right? Chapter 2 is complete. We have covered greetings for in-person, telephone, and online settings. We have talked about what not to say. We have practiced the structure of a perfect phone greeting. And we have learned some powerful first impression phrases. In Chapter 3, we are going to move to something equally important: listening. How to truly listen to what a customer is saying, how to show them that you are listening, and how to understand even when a customer's English is not very clear. This is a chapter you will find very, very useful. Chapter 3, listening and understanding. Catching what customers really say. Welcome to Chapter 3. And this chapter is about one of the most powerful skills in all of customer service, and honestly, in all of communication, the skill of listening. Now, you might be thinking, listening is easy. I know how to listen. But here is the thing. There is a big difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is passive. Hearing is just the sound entering your ears. Listening is active. Listening means you are paying full attention. You are processing what the person is saying. You are thinking about what they mean, not just what they are saying. And you are showing the person that you are engaged, that you care, that you are with them. In customer service, active listening is everything. Customers can tell immediately whether you are really listening or just waiting for them to stop talking so you can say your next line. And when a customer feels truly listened to, they feel respected, they feel valued, and they are much more likely to be patient with you, even if there is a problem. So let us talk about active listening skills in detail. The first skill is called verbal acknowledgement. Verbal acknowledgement means using small sounds or short phrases while the customer is speaking to show that you are following along. In English, these sounds and phrases include "I see." Said while nodding, this means "I understand what you are saying." Right. Said in a gentle, understanding tone. This signals agreement or comprehension. Of course. This phrase shows understanding and empathy. It says, "Yes, I understand why you feel or think that way." I understand. These two words are incredibly powerful in customer service. They are simple, they are clear, and they communicate deep empathy. Absolutely. This is a strong word of agreement. When a customer says something that is completely correct, responding with absolutely tells them that they are right and that you agree completely. This is a small sound of acknowledgement. You are probably familiar with this sound. It is very common in English conversation to show that you are listening. Now, it is important to use these acknowledgements naturally. Do not overuse them. If you say, I see, I see, I see, I understand, absolutely, of course, every few seconds, it sounds unnatural and even sarcastic. Use them at natural pauses in the customer's speech, where it makes sense to show acknowledgement. The second active listening skill is called reflecting. Reflecting means repeating back to the customer in your own words what they just told you. This serves two purposes. First, it shows the customer that you truly listened and understood. Second, it gives you and the customer a chance to confirm that the information is correct. Here is an example of reflecting. Customer says, I bought a laptop from your store last week and it keeps shutting down unexpectedly. It happens at least 3 or 4 times a day and I cannot get my work done because of it. Jimmy says, so just to make sure I understand, your laptop is turning off on its own several times a day and it is preventing you from working. Is that right? Notice what Jimmy did. He did not just say okay. He repeated the key information back to the customer in a clear, organized way. And he ended with, is that right? This is very important. Always confirm with the customer that your understanding is correct. Here are some reflecting phrases you can use. So what you are saying is, followed by the summary of what they told you. If I understand correctly, followed by your interpretation. Let me make sure I understand. You are saying that, followed by the key information. So the main issue is, followed by the core problem. These phrases are professional, they show active engagement, and they prevent misunderstandings. The third active listening skill is showing empathy. Empathy means the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. In customer service, empathy does not mean you have to become emotional or overly personal. It just means acknowledging that the customer has feelings and that those feelings are valid. Here are some empathy phrases. I completely understand how frustrating that must be. This is one of the most useful phrases in customer service. When a customer is frustrated about a problem, this phrase validates their emotion. It tells them, I hear you, and your frustration makes sense. I can imagine how inconvenient this has been for you. Inconvenient means causing problems or difficulties. This phrase is excellent for situations where the customer has had to deal with extra trouble because of something that went wrong. That sounds really difficult. I am sorry you are going through this. This phrase is warm and human. It acknowledges the customer's experience without judging. I understand this is not the experience you were hoping for. This phrase is very professional. It acknowledges the gap between what the customer expected and what actually happened. Now, let us talk about something very specific to non-native English speakers in customer service. What to do when you do not understand what a customer said. This is a very real situation. A customer speaks quickly, uses slang you do not know, has a strong accent, or uses vocabulary that is unfamiliar to you, and you need to ask them to repeat or to clarify. First, I want to tell you something very important. It is always better to ask for clarification than to guess and get it wrong. If you pretend you understood when you did not, you will either give the customer incorrect information, or you will have to come back and ask later anyway. Both of those outcomes are worse than simply asking politely the first time. Here are the most professional ways to ask a customer to repeat or clarify. I'm sorry, could you say that again? Please? This is simple, polite, and completely acceptable. I apologize, I missed that last part. Could you repeat it for me? This is more detailed and very professional. You are explaining exactly what happened. You missed the last part. And asking specifically for a repeat. I am sorry. I want to make sure I have the right information. Could you say that one more time, please? This phrase is wonderful because it gives the customer a positive reason for your request. You are not asking because of a problem with you. You are asking because you care about accuracy. Would you mind speaking a little more slowly, please? I want to make sure I understand everything correctly. This phrase is perfect when the customer is speaking very fast. Notice that you are always explaining the reason. You want to understand everything correctly. This puts the focus on your desire to help, not on any limitation. I am sorry for the confusion. Could you rephrase that for me? This phrase is great when you understood the words, but did not understand the meaning. Now, I want to give you a specific strategy for dealing with thick accents or unfamiliar words. When a customer uses a word you do not know, do not panic. Instead, use context. Context means the surrounding information. Often, you can understand what someone means from the surrounding words, even if you do not know one specific word. For example, if a customer says, "I need to reschedule my appointment because of a prior engagement," you might not know the phrase prior engagement. But from the context, the word reschedule, the word appointment, the word because, you can understand that the customer has something else they need to do and they want to change their appointment time. You do not need to know every single word. Use the context. And when you still cannot understand, use this phrase, "I want to make sure I help you correctly. Could you give me a little more information about that?" This phrase is gentle and professional, and it invites the customer to expand what they are saying without making them feel judged. Now let us talk about note-taking. In many customer service situations, especially in complex calls or technical support scenarios, you will need to write down what the customer tells you. Note-taking is a form of active listening because it forces you to capture and organize the key information. When you are taking notes during a customer interaction, let the customer know. Please give me just one moment while I write that down. This phrase is simple and professional. It explains what you are doing and prevents an awkward silence. I am just making a note of that so I have all the details. Thank you for your patience. This phrase is wonderful because it shows the customer why you are writing, and it thanks them for their patience. Now let me walk you through an example of excellent active listening in a full customer service conversation. Customer calls in, Jimmy answers. Jimmy says, "Good afternoon. Thank you for calling Premium Support. This is Jimmy. How can I help you today?" Customer says, "Hi, yes. I have been waiting for a delivery for 3 weeks now, and it still has not arrived. I am very frustrated. I have called before, but nobody helped me." Jimmy says, "I am so sorry to hear that. I can completely understand how frustrating it must be to wait this long, especially if you have called before without getting a resolution. Let me help you today. Just to confirm, you placed an order 3 weeks ago and it has not arrived yet, and you have contacted us before about this. Is that correct?" Customer says, "Yes, that is right." Jimmy says, "Thank you for that information. I am going to look into this immediately and find out exactly what happened with your delivery. May I have your order number, please?" Now let me draw your attention to a few things in that conversation. First, Jimmy never made the customer feel like a burden. Even though the customer was frustrated, Jimmy matched their emotion with empathy, not defensiveness. Second, Jimmy reflected the key information back. Placed an order 3 weeks ago, has not arrived, contacted before. This showed the customer that Jimmy was truly listening. Third, Jimmy used the phrase, "Find out exactly what happened." Exactly is a powerful word. It tells the customer that Jimmy is going to investigate properly, not just give a quick, careless answer. Fourth, Jimmy said, "I am going to look into this immediately." Immediately is another powerful word. It creates urgency. It tells the customer that their problem is a priority. These words, exactly, immediately, absolutely, certainly, are what I call power words. They add strength and confidence to your customer service language. We will talk more about these words throughout this audiobook. For now, let us move to Chapter 4. where we will focus on asking questions, one of the most important skills in customer service communication. Chapter 4. Asking the right questions, how to get the information you need. Welcome to Chapter 4. We are now going to talk about one of the most practical and powerful skills in professional customer service English, how to ask questions. Questions are the engine of a customer service conversation. The right question at the right time can help you understand exactly what a customer needs, prevent misunderstandings, speed up a resolution, and make the customer feel cared for. But questions can also be asked in the wrong way. A question asked poorly can sound rude, impatient, or accusatory. And so the way you phrase your questions is just as important as the questions themselves. Let us start with the two main types of questions in English: open questions and closed questions. An open question is a question that requires a full answer. Open questions usually begin with words like what, how, why, when, where, or who. Open questions invite the customer to give you detailed information. A closed question is a question that can be answered with just one or two words, usually yes or no. Closed questions are useful when you need to confirm specific details quickly. In customer service, you will use both types, but you need to know when to use each one. Open questions are best at the beginning of a conversation, when you want to understand the customer's full situation. They are also useful when you need the customer to describe a problem in detail. Closed questions are best when you are confirming details, completing a form, or verifying information. They are quick and efficient. Let me give you some examples of open questions in customer service. What seems to be the issue today? This is a classic open question. It invites the customer to describe their problem in their own words. How long has this been going on? This question asks for a time period and helps you understand the scale of the problem. What have you tried so far? This question is useful in technical support because it tells you what has already been done, so you do not suggest solutions that the customer has already attempted. How can I make this right for you? This is one of my favorite questions in customer service. It gives the power to the customer. It shows that you are focused on the outcome they want, not the outcome you think they should accept. What is most important to you about this? This question helps you prioritize when a customer has multiple needs or concerns. Now let me give you some examples of closed questions in customer service. Did you receive a confirmation email? Yes or no? Quick and clear. Is this your home address or your work address? Two options. Quick confirmation. Have you contacted us about this before? Yes or no? Helps you understand the history. Are you available for a call back tomorrow morning? Yes or no? Schedules efficiently. Now I want to talk about something called the funnel technique. This is a technique used by expert communicators. It means starting with broad, open questions and gradually moving to specific closed questions. Like a funnel, wide at the top, narrow at the bottom. Here is an example. You start broad. So what seems to be happening with your account? Open question. The customer explains the full situation. Then you narrow down. And when did you first notice this problem? Still open, but more specific. Then even more specific. Was this before or after you updated your app? Still open, but very focused. Then you confirm with a closed question. So, just to confirm, the problem started after you updated the app on Monday. Is that right? By using the funnel technique, you gather all the information you need in a logical, organized way. The customer feels guided and supported, and you get a clear picture of the situation. Now, let me talk about the tone of a question. In English, the same question can sound very different depending on how it is phrased. For example, compare these two questions. Why didn't you bring the receipt? This sounds accusatory. It sounds like you are blaming the customer for forgetting something. Do you happen to have your receipt with you today? This sounds gentle and non-judgmental. It gives the customer the opportunity to say yes or no without feeling blamed. Here is another example. What's your problem? This sounds rude and impatient. Never say this to a customer. Could you tell me what the issue is today? This sounds professional and caring. It invites the customer to explain without feeling judged. The difference between these examples is not just vocabulary, it is attitude. The second versions come from a place of care and respect. The first versions come from a place of impatience or accusation. Always ask your questions from a place of care. Here are some professional question phrases that you can use in many different situations. Could you tell me more about that? This is an open invitation for the customer to give you more detail. It is gentle and curious without being intrusive. Would you mind walking me through what happened? Walk me through. You learned this phrase in Chapter 2. It means to guide someone step by step. Here, you are asking the customer to guide you through the sequence of events. May I ask when this happened? May I ask is a very polite way to introduce a question. It shows respect for the customer's privacy and time. Can you describe what it looks like? This question is useful when the customer is reporting a problem with a product and you need more detail about the physical appearance. Is there anything else I should know about your situation? This is a great closing question after you have gathered the main information. It gives the customer a chance to add anything important that they might have forgotten. Now, I want to give you some question phrases specifically for handling situations where you are missing information. I just need a couple of details to help you better. First, could I get your full name? This phrase is wonderful because it explains why you need the information. To help better, always tell the customer why you are asking for information. This builds trust and prevents the customer from feeling suspicious. To look this up for you, could I have your order number? Again, you're telling the customer why you need the information. To look this up for you. This puts their need at the center. So that I can route your call to the right department, could you briefly describe your issue? This phrase is professional and clear. The customer understands exactly why they are being asked the question. Now, let us practice with a full conversation where questions play a central role. Customer calls in. Customer says, "Hi, I need help with my subscription." Jimmy says, "Of course, I am happy to help with that. Could you tell me a little more about what you need? Is this about changing your plan, or is there a different issue?" Customer says, "I want to cancel my subscription." Jimmy says, "I understand. May I ask what is prompting you to cancel today? I just want to make sure I understand your situation fully." Customer says, "It is too expensive. I am not using it enough." Jimmy says, "That makes complete sense. Thank you for telling me. Can I ask, when did you last use your subscription?" Customer says, "Maybe 2 or 3 months ago." Jimmy says, "I see. And are you open to hearing about a less expensive plan that might be a better fit for your usage?" Now, notice something very carefully. Jimmy asked a question at the end. Are you open to hearing about a less expensive plan? This is a beautiful question because it does not push the customer into anything. It simply offers an option and asks permission. The word open is key. Are you open means are you willing to consider? It is soft. It is respectful. Also notice how Jimmy gathered important information through questions before making any suggestion. He found out why the customer wants to cancel. He found out when they last used the service. And with that information, he was able to offer a potentially helpful solution. This is the power of asking the right questions. Before I give you your final phrases for this chapter, I want to talk about one more important topic: sensitive questions. Sometimes in customer service, you need to ask for personal information. You might need to ask for a date of birth, an address, a financial detail, or a medical history. These are sensitive topics, and they need to be handled with extra care and professionalism. Here are some phrases for asking sensitive questions. For security purposes, could I verify a few details with you? This phrase immediately explains the reason for the questions, security, and makes the customer feel that their information is being protected. I want to be thorough and make sure everything is accurate. Do you mind if I ask for your date of birth? Asking for permission before a sensitive question is always good practice. Everything you share with me is completely confidential. This reassurance can make a customer feel much more comfortable sharing personal information. You are welcome to skip this question if you prefer. This phrase gives the customer a sense of control. Not all information is absolutely required, and letting the customer know they have a choice builds trust. Wonderful. Chapter 4 is complete. We have learned the difference between open and closed questions, the funnel technique, how to phrase questions with care, and how to handle sensitive questions professionally. In Chapter 5, we're going to learn how to explain things clearly, how to take complex information and make it simple and easy for a customer to understand. Chapter 5. Explaining things clearly. Making complex topics simple. Welcome to Chapter 5. This chapter is about communication in the direction of you toward the customer. How do you give information? How do you explain a product? How do you describe a process? How do you help a customer understand something complicated? This is a skill that many people struggle with, not just non-native English speakers. Even fluent English speakers sometimes give explanations that are unclear, confusing, or too long. So what you are going to learn in this chapter will actually make you better than many native speakers at explaining things. The golden rule of customer service explanation is this: always put yourself in the customer's shoes. A shoe is what you wear on your foot, and the expression "put yourself in someone's shoes" means to imagine what things look like from their perspective, from their point of view. When you explain something to a customer, you need to think about what they already know and what they do not know. You need to think about their level of experience with the topic. Are they an expert, or are they a complete beginner? The explanation you give to an expert will be very different from the explanation you give to a beginner. In most customer service situations, you should assume that the customer is not an expert in your product or service. You should explain things as clearly and simply as possible, without using too much technical language, what we call jargon. Jargon is specialized language used by people in a particular industry. Every industry has its own jargon. In technology, there is jargon. In banking, there is jargon. In medicine, there is jargon. And often, customers do not understand this jargon. And when a customer does not understand what you are saying, they feel confused, sometimes embarrassed, and often frustrated. So here is an important rule. Avoid jargon when speaking with customers. If you must use a technical term, always explain it immediately in simple words. For example, your account has been flagged. That means our system has noticed unusual activity and put a temporary hold on it. You use the technical phrase flagged, but you immediately explained what it means in simple language. Let me now give you a framework for giving a clear explanation. This framework has 4 steps. Step 1, tell them what you are going to explain. This prepares the customer's brain for the information that is coming. I am going to walk you through how our return process works. It is very simple, and I will take you through it step by step. Step 2, give the explanation clearly and slowly. Use simple words. Use short sentences. Pause between important points. Step 3, check for understanding. After your explanation, always check that the customer has understood. Does that make sense so far? Or, are you following me so far? Or, do you have any questions at this point? Step 4, summarize the key points. At the end, repeat the most important pieces of information. So just to recap, your order will arrive within 3 to 5 business days, and you will receive a tracking number by email. Is there anything else you need to know? Let me walk you through a full example of this framework. Customer asks, "Can you explain how your loyalty program works? I got this card, but I do not really understand it." Jimmy says, "Of course, let me walk you through it. It is actually quite simple." Step 1. Every time you make a purchase at one of our stores, you earn points. For every dollar you spend, you get 1 point. Step 2. Beginning. Once you reach 500 points, you can redeem them. That means use them to get a discount on your next purchase. So 500 points gives you $20 off. Step 2, continued. Notice that Jimmy explained the word redeem immediately after using it. You can check how many points you have by logging into our website or app, or by asking any of our staff at the checkout. Step 2, final detail. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions so far? Step 3, Jimmy checks for understanding. Customer says, "Yes, I think I understand, but what if I lose the card?" Jimmy says, "Great question. Your points are linked to your account, not just the physical card. So even if you lose the card, your points are safe. We can issue you a new card, and all your points will transfer to it automatically." So to summarize the key points, you earn 1 point for every dollar spent, 500 points gets you $20 off, and your points are safe even if you lose the card. Step 4. That was a beautifully clear explanation. The customer went from feeling confused about the loyalty program to fully understanding it. And it happened because Jimmy followed the 4-step framework. Now, let me give you some specific language tools for explanations. The first tool is sequencing language. Sequencing language helps you put information in a logical order so that the customer can follow the explanation step by step. First of all, begins the sequence. Then, moves to the next step. After that, continues the sequence. Next, continues further. Finally, ends the sequence. Once that is done, signals completion of one step and transition to the next. Let me give you an example. To reset your password, first of all, you need to go to our website and click on the login button. Then, click on the link that says "Forgot your password." After that, you will receive an email with a link to reset your password. Click on that link, and then you will be asked to create a new password. Finally, once you have saved your new password, you can log in right away. That explanation is clear because of the sequencing language. Each step is clearly labeled, and the customer can follow along easily. The second tool is the analogy. An analogy is when you explain something unfamiliar by comparing it to something familiar. For example, explaining how a server works in technology to someone who does not know about computers. Think of the server like a very large filing cabinet. All your files and documents are stored inside it, and you can access them whenever you need them. Or explaining how compound interest works to a customer who is not familiar with banking. It is like a snowball rolling down a hill. The snowball starts small, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow, and it grows bigger and bigger. Your money does the same thing. The interest you earn also earns interest, so your savings grow faster and faster over time. Analogies make complex things simple. They connect new information to things the customer already knows and understands. Use analogies whenever you can. The third tool is emphasis. Emphasis means highlighting the most important parts of your explanation so the customer knows what to pay special attention to. In speaking, you create emphasis by slowing down slightly and raising or lowering your voice on key words. In a customer service context, you can also use emphasis phrases like, "The most important thing to remember is," followed by the key information. "Please pay special attention to this part." This signals to the customer that what follows is critical. I want to make sure this is very clear. This phrase slightly increases urgency and focus. The fourth tool is pacing. Pacing means controlling the speed and rhythm of your explanation. If you speak too fast, the customer will get lost. If you speak too slowly for too long, the customer might get bored or feel like their time is being wasted. The key is to pace your explanation to the customer. Watch for signs of understanding or confusion. If the customer is nodding and saying, "Yes, yes, I understand," you can move a little faster. If the customer looks confused, or if there is a long silence, slow down and check for understanding before continuing. You can also use pacing pauses, short, deliberate pauses between key pieces of information. These pauses give the customer's brain time to process what they just heard before you move on to the next point. Here are some wonderful phrases for managing pace and checking understanding during an explanation. Let me slow down a little, and this part is important. Am I going too fast? Just let me know and I will slow down. Let me just pause there for a moment and check. Does that part make sense to you? I know there is a lot of information here. Take your time. These phrases show the customer that you are aware of their experience, that you care about whether they understand, and that you are not just delivering information into a void, but truly communicating with a real human being. Before we finish Chapter 5, I want to give you one more important skill for explanations: handling the situation when a customer did not understand your explanation. Sometimes, even after a clear explanation, a customer will still be confused. They might say, "I am sorry, I still do not understand." Or they might ask the same question again in a slightly different way. Or they might go silent, which often means they did not follow but are too polite to say so. When this happens, never repeat your explanation in exactly the same way. If the customer did not understand the first time, hearing the exact same words again will not help them. Instead, try a different approach. Try a shorter version. Let me put it more simply. Basically, you get 10% off on your next purchase. That is the main thing. Try an analogy. Think of it this way. Try a concrete example. Let me give you a specific example. If you spend $50 today, that means you would receive. Try asking the customer where they lost the thread. Which part is unclear for you? Let me focus on just that part. This approach of adapting your explanation, changing it based on what the customer needs, is the hallmark of a truly excellent customer service communicator. Great work. Chapter 5 is done. Let us move to Chapter 6, where we are going to cover one of the most challenging areas of customer service: handling complaints. Chapter 6, Handling Complaints. Staying calm and professional when things go wrong. Welcome to Chapter 6. We're going to talk about complaints. And I know that this might be one of the most stressful parts of customer service for you. Dealing with a customer who is unhappy, frustrated, or even angry, it is not easy. It is not easy in your native language, and it is certainly not easy in your second language. But here is what I want you to know. Handling complaints well is actually one of the greatest opportunities in customer service. When a customer comes to you with a complaint, and you handle it with professionalism, calm, and care, you can actually turn that unhappy customer into a very loyal customer. Research shows that customers who had a complaint handled well are often more loyal than customers who never had a problem at all. Why? Because they experienced something powerful, they were let down, and then someone stepped up to make it right. And that experience of being treated with respect and care during a difficult moment creates a very deep and lasting impression. So let us learn how to handle complaints professionally. The first step in handling a complaint is what I call emotional de-escalation. De-escalate means to bring something down from a high, intense level to a calmer level. When a customer is angry or very frustrated, they are emotionally escalated. Your job in the first moments is to bring that emotional level down by responding with calm, empathy, and acknowledgement. The worst thing you can do when a customer is complaining is to respond with defensiveness. Defensiveness means protecting yourself or your company from blame. When a customer is venting frustration and you immediately say, "Well, that is not our fault," or "You should have read the terms and conditions," even if those things are factually true, the customer will feel dismissed and even more angry. Instead, start with validation. Validation means confirming that the customer's feelings are understood and reasonable. Here are some validation phrases. "I am truly sorry to hear this happened. That is absolutely not the experience we want you to have." This phrase is very powerful. It takes full ownership of the customer's bad experience, even before you know exactly who is responsible. It says, "This is not okay, and we care about that." I completely understand why you are frustrated. If this happened to me, I would feel the same way. This phrase is empathetic in a very personal way. You are putting yourself in the customer's position. You are saying, "I would react the same way. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. I know it takes time to call us, and I appreciate it." This phrase reframes the complaint as something positive, as information that helps you improve, and it thanks the customer for their effort. This is a beautiful thing to say. You have every right to be upset about this. Let me do everything I can to fix it. This is a powerful and honest phrase. You are acknowledging the legitimacy of the customer's emotion and immediately committing to action. Now, after you have validated the customer's emotion, you move to the second step, gathering the facts. In Chapter 4, we already practiced asking questions professionally. The same skills apply here, but in a complaint situation, you need to be even more careful and gentle in how you gather information. Here are some complaint-specific information gathering phrases. Could you walk me through exactly what happened from the beginning? This open question gives the customer full space to tell their story. From the beginning is important. It tells the customer you want the whole picture, not just the end result. I want to make sure I fully understand your situation so I can find the best solution. Could you give me a few more details? This phrase explains why you need the information and frames the gathering process in terms of finding a solution. What happened next? This is a short, encouraging question that keeps the customer's story moving forward without interrupting. How did that make you feel? This question goes beyond the facts and into the emotional experience. It shows deep empathy and helps you understand the full impact of the problem. As you are gathering information, remember to use your active listening skills from Chapter 3. Acknowledge, reflect, validate. Keep the customer feeling heard throughout the entire process. The third step is taking ownership. Taking ownership means accepting responsibility, even if the problem was not entirely your fault. In customer service, this does not mean you are personally admitting wrongdoing. It means you are representing your company and accepting responsibility on behalf of the team. This is a very important distinction. You personally did not cause the delay, or the wrong product, or the billing error. But, as a customer service representative, you are the face of the company at this moment. And customers do not want to hear, "That was not my department," or "That is somebody else's problem." They want to hear, "I take responsibility, and I will handle this." Here are some ownership phrases. I take full responsibility for this, and I am going to fix it for you. Clean, direct, and powerful. On behalf of our company, I sincerely apologize for what happened. On behalf of means representing. You are apologizing on behalf of the entire organization. This should never have happened, and I am going to personally make sure it is resolved today. The word personally is very strong here. You are making a personal commitment. Whatever caused this, it is our job to make it right. And that is exactly what I am going to do. This phrase removes blame from the conversation entirely. It does not matter whose fault it is. What matters is finding the solution. The fourth step is offering the solution. We are going to cover this in much more detail in Chapter 8. But let me give you the key principle here. When offering a solution to a complaint, always frame it in terms of what you can do, not what you cannot do. For example, instead of saying, "I cannot refund you because it has been more than 30 days, say, "What I can do is offer you a store credit which you can use on any future purchase. I also want to personally escalate this to our manager to review the situation." See the difference? You are not lying. You are not hiding the truth. But you are leading with possibility, with what you can offer, rather than with limitations. This feels completely different to the customer. Here are some solution offering phrases for complaint situations. Here is what I am going to do for you. followed by the action. Saying this shows confidence and commitment. I want to make this right for you. I am going to... followed by a concrete action. I have a couple of options that might help. Let me share them with you, and you can tell me which you prefer. Giving customers a choice is very powerful in complaint situations. When a customer has been through a bad experience, giving them control over the solution helps restore their sense of dignity and satisfaction. I am going to escalate this to my supervisor right now, and we will get back to you within 24 hours with a full resolution. When you cannot solve the problem yourself, escalation is appropriate, but always give a time frame. Always tell the customer when they will hear back. Now, let me talk about one of the most difficult types of complaints, when the customer is wrong. Sometimes a customer will come to you with a complaint that is not based on accurate information. Maybe they misunderstood the terms. Maybe they used the product incorrectly. Maybe they are confusing your company with a different one. In these situations, you must be very careful. You do not want to call the customer wrong directly. That will make them feel humiliated and angry. Instead, you want to gently guide them to the correct understanding. Here is the language for handling this. I completely understand why it seemed that way. Let me share some additional information that might help clarify the situation. This phrase validates their perception, it seemed that way, without confirming that they are right. And then it offers new information as a clarification, not a correction. That is a very understandable interpretation. What actually happened here is, this phrase acknowledges their interpretation as reasonable, and then gently provides the correct version. I can see why there might have been some confusion. Let me walk you through the details so we can get a clear picture together. This phrase is collaborative. Together means you and the customer are figuring this out as a team, not that you are correcting them. These phrases allow you to correct a misunderstanding without making the customer feel foolish or attacked. Let me now give you a very important rule about tone during a complaint. No matter what the customer says, no matter how rude or aggressive they become, your voice must remain calm, warm, and professional at all times. This is not always easy. It is human to feel defensive or hurt when someone speaks to us unkindly. But in customer service, your calm is your superpower. When you remain calm while the customer is agitated, the contrast creates a calming effect on the customer. They tend to follow your emotional lead, and if a customer becomes truly abusive, if they use very rude language, threatening language, or deeply disrespectful language, you have the right professionally and clearly to say, "I understand you are very frustrated and I want to help you. I am going to continue to help you. But I do need us to keep our conversation respectful so I can focus on finding the best solution for you." This phrase sets a professional boundary without abandoning the customer or becoming defensive. It is firm, professional, and still focused on help. Chapter 6 has given us the tools to handle complaints with confidence, empathy, and professionalism. Chapter 7 builds on this with the specific language of apology and empathy. Words that heal, repair, and rebuild trust. Chapter 7, the language of apology and empathy. Words that heal. Welcome to Chapter 7. In this chapter, we are going to go deep into one of the most powerful forms of customer service communication, the apology. And alongside the apology, we will explore empathy language, words and phrases that make customers feel truly seen, heard, and valued. An apology is not just the words, "I am sorry." An apology, when done properly in a customer service context, is a complete act of communication that has several important elements. Let me walk you through those elements. The first element is the expression of regret. This is the "I am sorry" part, but there are many ways to express regret in professional English, and some are more powerful than others. I am sorry. Simple and sincere. I sincerely apologize. Sincerely means genuinely, truly. This elevates the apology. I am deeply sorry for this. Deeply adds emotional weight. It shows that the apology comes from a place of genuine feeling. I want to express my sincere apologies. This phrasing is very formal and appropriate for serious situations. Please accept my apologies. This is also formal and shows respect. The second element of a complete apology is acknowledgement of the specific problem. A vague apology. I am sorry for any inconvenience often does not land well with customers. It can sound automatic and rehearsed. The customer knows you say that to everyone. A specific apology, I am truly sorry that your order arrived 3 days late and that the item was damaged, is much more powerful because it shows that you know exactly what went wrong. It shows the customer that their specific situation has been understood. So always pair your apology with a specific description of what you are apologizing for. I am truly sorry that your appointment was canceled without notice. Specific. I apologize that the bill you received was incorrect. I understand how confusing and worrying that must have been. Specific and empathetic. I am so sorry that you had to call 4 times before this was resolved. That is not acceptable. Specific and taking ownership. The third element is non-justification, at least at first. This means, when you first apologize, do not immediately follow it with an explanation or excuse. For example, this is wrong. I am sorry your package arrived late. You see, our warehouse was really busy last week, and also there was a shipping company delay, and also... When you immediately start explaining after an apology, the customer feels that you are making excuses. They feel that your priority is defending yourself, not caring about them. So save the explanation for later, if it is even necessary, and let the apology stand alone first. I am truly sorry this happened. Full stop. Pause. Let that land. Then, I want to look into this right away and get this fixed for you. Action. The explanation, if needed, can come later. I can share what happened behind the scenes if you would like to know. And then the customer decides whether they even want the explanation. The fourth element of a powerful apology is the commitment to action. An apology without action is just words, and customers know this. So your apology must always be followed by a commitment to do something. I am sincerely sorry this happened. I am going to correct this right now. I apologize for this error. Here is what I am going to do to make it right. I am so sorry for the delay. I want to make this up to you by... The action completes the apology. It takes the apology from an emotion to a commitment. Now, let us talk about empathy language in more depth. We touched on empathy in Chapter 3, but let me go deeper here. Empathy language is not just about apologies. It is the entire emotional vocabulary of customer service. It is the language that says, I see you as a human being, not just as a transaction. There are 3 levels of empathy language: basic, intermediate, and advanced. Basic empathy language acknowledges the customer's emotion. I understand that is frustrating. I see that this is stressful. I know that is disappointing. These phrases are good because they name the emotion. They say, I notice how you feel. Intermediate empathy language validates the emotion. That frustration makes complete sense. Of course you would feel upset about this. I would feel the same way if I were in your position. These phrases go further because they not only name the emotion, but confirm that it is a reasonable and understandable emotion. The customer is not overreacting. They are responding normally to an abnormal situation. Advanced empathy language connects emotionally and takes ownership. I genuinely regret that we put you in this position. You deserved better than this, and I am sorry we did not deliver that. This should not have happened to you, and the fact that it did is something I take very seriously. These phrases are powerful because they do not just acknowledge feelings, they acknowledge the human dignity of the customer. They say, you deserve good treatment, and I am sorry you did not receive it. Let me give you a full apology scenario to practice with. Customer calls, very upset. Customer says, "I am absolutely furious. I paid for express delivery, and my package arrived 4 days late. I missed an important event because of this. Do you understand how that feels?" Jimmy says, "I hear you, and I am truly, genuinely sorry. I understand that you paid for express delivery with an expectation that it would arrive on time, and it did not. That is a real failure on our part, and the fact that you missed an important event because of it makes this even more serious. I sincerely apologize. What I am going to do right now is pull up your order and find out exactly what happened. And then I want to talk with you about what we can do to make this right. Is that okay?" Notice what Jimmy did. He used the word genuinely. Genuinely means sincerely, truly. He specifically mentioned the express delivery expectation and the important event. That is specific acknowledgement. He used the phrase, "a real failure on our part." That is taking ownership directly. He said, "even more serious." That validates the weight of the customer's experience. He committed to action. Pull up your order, find out exactly what happened. And he ended with a question. Is that okay? That question gives the customer a moment of agency, a moment of control. Now, I want to give you some empathy phrases organized by customer emotion. When a customer is frustrated, I can hear how frustrated you are, and I want you to know that your frustration is completely justified. Let me work on this immediately. When a customer is confused, I am sorry that this has been confusing. It is my responsibility to make sure everything is clear, and I want to do that for you right now. When a customer is anxious or worried, I understand this is a worrying situation, and I want you to know that you are in good hands. I am going to take care of this. When a customer is disappointed, I am truly sorry to have let you down. You had every right to expect better, and I am going to do everything in my power to address this. When a customer is feeling ignored, I am so sorry that you have not received the attention and support you deserved. I want you to know that your issue is important to me, and I am going to give it my full focus right now. These phrases are specific to different emotions. And using the right empathy phrase for the right emotion shows the customer that you are truly paying attention to them, not just delivering a generic response. Now, I also want to talk about what I call empathy traps. Mistakes that people make when trying to be empathetic that actually backfire. Empathy trap number 1, overpromising. When you feel empathy for a customer, you might be tempted to promise too much. I will absolutely make sure this never happens again. I guarantee you will have it by tomorrow morning. If you cannot keep these promises, making them is worse than not making them. Only promise what you can deliver. Empathy trap number 2, making it about you. I know exactly how you feel, because the same thing happened to me once. Sharing personal stories can sometimes build connection, but in customer service, be careful. The focus must stay on the customer and their experience. Empathy trap number 3, using cliches. These things happen. It is what it is. That is just the way it goes. These expressions minimize the customer's experience and sound dismissive. Avoid them completely. Empathy trap number 4, the hollow apology. I am sorry you feel that way. This phrase is widely known as a bad apology because it implies that the problem is the customer's feelings, not the actual situation. Never say, I am sorry you feel that way. Instead say, I am sorry this happened to you. Chapter 7, complete. You now have a rich vocabulary of apology and empathy that will help you turn difficult moments into trust-building moments. Chapter 8 is next, and it is about solutions, the action-oriented language of customer service. Chapter 8, offering solutions, the language of problem solving. Welcome to Chapter 8. We have spent a lot of time so far on listening, questioning, and empathy. Now it is time for the most action-oriented part of customer service English, offering solutions. Offering a solution is the moment when everything you have done so far, all the listening, all the questioning, all the empathy, pays off for the customer. This is the moment when you move from understanding the problem to fixing the problem. And the language you use during this moment will determine whether the customer walks away satisfied or still frustrated. Let me start with the most important principle of solution language. Lead with what you can do, not with what you cannot do. We touched on this in Chapter 6. Let me go deeper here. In customer service, you will often face limitations. There will be things you cannot do, policies you cannot override, timelines you cannot change. This is the reality of working in any organization. But how you communicate these limitations to the customer makes all the difference. Compare these two statements. Statement 1. I cannot process a refund because it has been over 30 days since your purchase. Statement 2. What I can do is look at your account history and check whether there are any exceptions applicable to your situation. I can also offer you a store credit that is equivalent to the full value of your purchase, which you can use on anything in our store. And I want to raise your case with my supervisor to see if a policy exception might be possible. Both statements contain the same underlying limitation. The normal refund policy does not apply, but the second statement focuses entirely on possibilities and action. The customer hears options. The customer hears effort. The customer hears, this person is working for me, not against me. Now let me give you the core language of solution offering. What I can do is, followed by the action. This phrase is one of the most powerful in customer service. It focuses immediately on possibility. Here is what I am going to do for you, followed by the action plan. The words for you are very important. Not for the company, not because the policy says so, for you. Let me see what options are available to you. This phrase shows initiative. You are going to look, you are going to investigate, you are going to find options. The customer feels that you are on their side. I have a few different ways I can help you with this. Would you like me to walk you through them? This phrase is excellent because it tells the customer there are multiple options, and it asks their permission to explain them. Customers love having choices. I am going to take ownership of this and make sure it is resolved. Take ownership. We use this phrase in Chapter 6. Here it applies to the solution stage. You are making a personal commitment. Now, let me talk about the importance of clear, specific commitments in solution language. When you offer a solution, it must be specific. Vague commitments do not satisfy customers. Compare these two commitments. Vague. I will look into it and get back to you. Specific. I am going to investigate this with our shipping department today, and I will call you back no later than 3 o'clock this afternoon with a full update and a concrete next step. The specific commitment tells the customer exactly what you are going to do, when you are going to do it, and what they can expect to receive. This level of specificity builds enormous trust. Here are some specific commitment phrases. I will have this resolved for you within 24 hours. I am going to send you a confirmation email within the next 2 hours. I will personally follow up with you by the end of this business day. Your refund will be processed within 3 to 5 business days, and you will receive an email confirmation. I will escalate this to a specialist who will contact you within 1 business day. Notice the time frames in each of these commitments. Within 24 hours, by 3 o'clock, by end of business day, 3 to 5 business days, 1 business day. Timeframes are critical in solution language because they manage the customer's expectations. When a customer knows exactly when something will happen, they can relax. Their anxiety about the situation decreases. And if you meet or beat your commitment, if you get back to them before the time you promised, they will be pleasantly surprised and very impressed. Now let me talk about the language of escalation. Escalation means passing the customer's issue to a higher level of authority, to a supervisor, to a specialist. to a different department. Escalation is sometimes necessary, and when done properly, it is a sign of professionalism, not weakness. Here are professional escalation phrases. I want to make sure you get the very best help possible, and in this case, I would like to connect you with our specialist who handles exactly this type of issue. This phrase frames escalation as something that benefits the customer, not as a way of getting rid of them. This is something I want to handle at the highest level for you. I am going to involve my supervisor to make sure we have the right resolution. Again, escalation is framed as going above and beyond, not as passing the buck. I am going to transfer you to our technical team, who are the experts in this area. Before I do, let me give them all the details of your case so you do not have to explain everything again. This last part is crucial. Telling the customer that you will brief the next agent saves the customer from having to repeat their entire story, which is one of the most frustrating experiences in customer service. Now, let me talk about creative problem solving in customer service. Sometimes the standard solution is not available or not appropriate, and in those cases, great customer service representatives think outside the box. That means they think creatively, beyond the standard options, to find solutions that truly serve the customer. Here are some creative solution phrases. That is outside our standard process. But let me think about this with you and see if we can find something that works. This phrase signals a willingness to think flexibly, without making any promises you cannot keep. I want to explore every possible option here. Give me a few minutes to look into this thoroughly. This tells the customer you are going to put in real effort, not just give a quick default answer. I am going to speak with my supervisor about this. I want to see if there is any flexibility on our end. This phrase sets honest expectations. You are not sure if an exception is possible, but you are going to try. Now, a very important topic. What to do when you cannot solve the problem. This is a reality of customer service. Not every problem can be solved. Not every complaint can be fully resolved. And not every customer can be fully satisfied. In those moments, honesty is the most professional response. Here is how to be honest about limitations while still maintaining professionalism and empathy. I want to be completely transparent with you. Based on our current policy, the options available are, followed by the real options. Transparency builds trust, even when the news is not what the customer wanted. I have looked into every avenue I can, and I want to be honest with you about where we stand. This phrase signals that you made a genuine effort before arriving at this moment of honesty. I genuinely wish I could do more, and I am sorry that I cannot. What I can offer you is you, followed by whatever is available. Even if the available option is small, offering something is better than offering nothing. Let me give you a full solution offering conversation example. Customer says, I have been trying to reach your billing department for 2 weeks and nobody has called me back. My bill has a $500 error and I cannot get anyone to fix it. Jimmy says, I am so sorry this has happened. 2 weeks is far too long to wait for something this important. Let me tell you exactly what I am going to do right now. First, I am pulling up your account and billing history. I can see the charge you are referring to, and I agree that something does not look right. I am going to flag this for immediate review by our billing specialist. I am also going to personally send you an email confirmation in the next 30 minutes that includes a case number and the name of the specialist handling your account. You will receive a call from them no later than tomorrow at noon. And if for any reason that call does not happen, I want you to call me back directly. My direct line is available in that email. Does that plan work for you? That is an outstanding solution response. Jimmy acknowledged the problem's severity. He stated exactly what he is doing in real time. He gave specific timeframes. He created accountability with a case number and a specialist name. He offered a direct escalation path if the commitment is not met. And he ended with a question that gives the customer a chance to confirm the plan or ask for adjustments. Wonderful. Chapter 8 is done. In Chapter 9, we're going to step into a very specific and important area: the English of phone calls and written communication, emails, chat messages, and text responses. Chapter 9: Phone and Email English, Professional Communication in Writing and on the Phone. Welcome to Chapter 9. We have learned a lot about spoken customer service English. Now we are going to focus on two very important channels: the telephone and written communication. These two channels require some specific skills and some specific language. Let us start with the telephone. The telephone is a challenging channel for non-native English speakers for a few reasons. First, you cannot see the other person. You cannot read their facial expressions or their body language. Second, phone connections can be unclear or noisy. Third, phone conversations often move faster than face-to-face conversations. And fourth, on the phone, your voice is all you have. Your voice must carry warmth, confidence, professionalism, and clarity all by itself. Let us start with telephone etiquette, the rules of polite and professional telephone behavior. Etiquette rule number 1: answer promptly. In most professional settings, you should answer a ringing phone within 3 rings. Letting the phone ring too many times signals that the company is disorganized or does not value the customer's time. Etiquette rule number 2: always identify yourself. Never just say hello and wait. Always give your name and, if relevant, your company name and department. Etiquette rule number 3: maintain a professional tone throughout the entire call. Even at the end of a long and difficult call, maintain your professionalism. Your tone at the end of the call is just as important as your tone at the beginning. Etiquette rule number 4: never eat, drink noisily, or do other activities while on a customer call. This is disrespectful and customers can hear it. Etiquette rule number 5: always close the call professionally. Do not just hang up abruptly. Use a proper closing sequence, which we will practice in Chapter 10. Now let me give you the specific language of telephone customer service. For placing a customer on hold, would you mind holding for just 1 moment while I check on that for you? Always ask before placing someone on hold. Never just silently press the hold button. If the hold is going to take more than 2 minutes, this might take a couple of minutes. Are you happy to hold, or would you prefer I call you back? Always give the customer the option to choose. Their time is valuable. When you come back from a hold, thank you so much for your patience. I am back now, and I have the information you need. Always thank the customer for holding. It shows appreciation for their patience. For transferring a call, I am going to transfer you to our billing department, who will be best placed to help you with this. Before I do, let me give them your name and the details of your issue so you do not have to repeat yourself. Is that okay? After transferring context to the other agent. I have a customer on the line, Mr. Hassan Khan. He has been waiting for a callback about a billing discrepancy. I am transferring him to you now. He has been very patient, and I want to make sure he gets a quick resolution. Speaking positively about the customer to the next agent also positively affects how that agent will approach the call. For when the call is breaking up or unclear, I am so sorry. The line seems to be a little unclear. Could you say that again? Or, I did not quite catch that. Could you speak up a little? I want to make sure I have the right information. For leaving a voicemail message, a professional voicemail has 5 parts: your name and company, your callback number, given slowly and clearly, the reason for the call, a good time to reach you or them, a polite closing. Hello, this message is for Ms. Elena Costa. My name is Jimmy, and I am calling from Premier Services. My callback number is 03 44 98 27 01. I am calling today regarding your recent service request. If you could call me back at your earliest convenience, I would be happy to assist you. You can reach me Monday through Friday from 9 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking with you. Goodbye. Notice how slowly and clearly the phone number was said. That is very important. When giving phone numbers, always break them into groups of 2 or 3 and say each group separately with a brief pause. Never say all the digits rapidly in one string. Now let us move to written communication. Emails and chat messages. Written customer service communication is different from spoken communication in several important ways. First, the customer cannot hear your tone. All they have is your words, and those words must carry everything: warmth, professionalism, clarity, and empathy. Second, written messages can be reread. The customer might read your email multiple times, so accuracy is extremely important. Third, written communication is a permanent record. Be professional and careful at all times. Let me give you the structure of a professional customer service email. Part 1, the greeting. As we discussed in Chapter 2, always greet the customer by name if you have it. Dear Mr. Ahmad, or Hello Sarah, depending on the level of formality. Part 2, the opening line. This line sets the tone of the email and acknowledges why you are writing or why the customer wrote to you. Thank you for reaching out to us. This is a warm, grateful opening. Thank you for your patience while we investigated your issue. This acknowledges any waiting time and shows appreciation. I am following up on your recent inquiry regarding. This is clear and professional for a follow-up email. I hope this email finds you well. This is a warm opening for less urgent matters. Part 3, the body. This is where you give the information, explanation, or solution. Use short paragraphs. Use clear, simple language. Do not use jargon. Organize the information logically so the customer can follow easily. Part 4, the action step. Tell the customer clearly what happens next, who does what, and when. I will process your refund today, and you should see the amount returned to your account within 5 to 7 business days. Please reply to this email with the requested information, and I will proceed immediately. A member of our team will contact you within 24 hours. Part 5, the closing. This wraps up the email professionally. Please do not hesitate to contact us if you need anything further. I am here to help if you have any more questions. Thank you again for your patience and understanding. Part 6, the sign-off. Common professional sign-offs include kind regards, warm regards, best regards, sincerely, and thank you. All of these are appropriate for customer service emails. Avoid overly casual sign-offs like cheers unless you are certain the customer has a casual relationship with your company. Let me now give you a full example of a professional customer service emails. Subject: your order number 789345, update and resolution. Dear Ms. Patel, thank you for getting in touch with us and for your patience while we looked into the delay with your order. I am sorry to inform you that your order was delayed due to an unexpected issue at our dispatch center. This is not the standard of service we aim to provide, and I sincerely apologize for the inconvenience this has caused you. I am pleased to let you know that your order has now been dispatched and is on its way to you. You can expect delivery within the next 2 to 3 business days. I have attached your tracking number to this email so you can monitor the progress of your delivery. As a gesture of goodwill for the delay, I have also applied a 15% discount to your account, which will be applied automatically to your next purchase. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if there is anything else I can help you with. Warm regards, Jimmy Customer Service Team, Premier Online Store. Now, let me highlight a few things about that email. It was warm and personal, but also clear and professional. The opening acknowledged the delay. The apology was specific. The good news, the order has been dispatched, was framed positively with I am pleased to let you know. The action step, the tracking number, was specific and immediately useful. The gesture of goodwill, the 15% discount, was a proactive offering that shows care, and the closing was open and welcoming. Now let me briefly cover live chat language. Chat is similar to email, but faster and more conversational. In a live chat, you want to be warm but efficient. Opening a chat. Hello, welcome to our chat support. My name is Jimmy. How can I help you today? Acknowledging a long message. Thank you for explaining this so thoroughly. I have all the details I need. Managing wait time. I am checking this for you now. This should take just a moment. Clarifying in chat. Just to confirm, you are referring to the order placed on the 4th of March. Is that right? Closing a chat. I am so glad I could help you today. Is there anything else you need before I go? Have a wonderful day. One final tip for written communication. Always proofread before you send. Read your email or chat message one more time before you click send. Check for spelling errors, missing words, and unclear sentences. A message with errors in it looks unprofessional and can confuse the customer. Chapter 9 is complete. We have covered telephone etiquette, holding and transferring calls, voicemail messages, professional email structure, and live chat language. One more chapter to go. Chapter 10 is about closing conversations and building long-term relationships with customers. It is the perfect note to end on. Chapter 10, Closing Conversations and Building Lasting Relationships. Welcome to Chapter 10. This is our final chapter, and it is one of the most important. We're going to talk about how to close a customer service conversation professionally and memorably, and how to use your language to build long-term relationships with customers. The closing of a conversation is the last impression you leave on the customer. And just like first impressions, last impressions are extremely powerful and lasting. How you end a conversation will determine how the customer feels about you, about your company, and about whether they will come back. There is an interesting psychological principle called the peak end rule. The peak end rule says that people remember an experience mainly based on two things: the peak moment, the most intense moment, positive or negative, and the end. Not the average of the whole experience, just the peak and the end. This means that even if there were difficulties during a customer interaction, if you end the conversation beautifully, the customer will carry a positive memory of the experience. The closing is your chance to leave the customer feeling great. So let us talk about what makes a great closing. A great closing has 4 elements. Element 1, summarize what was discussed and what was agreed. A closing summary confirms the resolution and makes sure both you and the customer are aligned. So just to confirm what we have agreed today, your replacement order has been submitted. You will receive a confirmation email within the next 2 hours, and the delivery will arrive within 3 to 5 business days. Does that all sound correct to you? This summary is important because it prevents misunderstandings. It is a final check to make sure the customer has the right expectations. Element 2, check for completeness. Before you close, always ask if there is anything else the customer needs. Is there anything else I can help you with today? This is the classic completeness check. It is simple, professional, and shows that you are not in a rush to end the call. Is there anything else on your mind, or anything I may not have covered? This version is even more thorough because it invites any remaining concerns, even ones the customer might not have thought to mention. Before I let you go, is there anything else I can take care of for you? The phrase, "before I let you go," is very warm and human. It implies that you have been happy to be with this customer, and you are making sure they are fully taken care of before you part ways. Element 3, express gratitude. Thank the customer. Always thank the customer. Thank them for their time, their patience, their loyalty, or their feedback. Thank you so much for your time today. It was my pleasure to help you. Thank you for your patience during this process. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for being such a valued customer. We really do appreciate your business. I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. It helps us improve our service. These thank you statements close the interaction on a note of appreciation and warmth. Element 4. The farewell. Your final words should be friendly, warm, and appropriate to the relationship you have built during the conversation. Have a wonderful day! Enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope the rest of your week goes smoothly. Take care, and do not hesitate to call us again if you need anything. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Goodbye. Notice that these farewells are not just goodbye. They are warm wishes that show genuine care for the customer's well-being beyond the transaction. Now, let me talk about something that takes customer service language to a truly exceptional level: personalization. Personalization means adjusting your language to reflect specific things you know about the customer. When a customer feels that you remember them, not just as a customer number, but as an individual person, they feel a powerful sense of loyalty. For example, during a conversation, you learn that the customer is calling about a product they bought as a gift for their daughter's birthday. At the end of the conversation, you say, "I hope your daughter has a wonderful birthday." That small detail, remembered and reflected back, is extraordinarily powerful. It says, "I was listening. You matter to me as a person." Or you learn during the call that the customer is traveling soon. You say, "I hope you have a fantastic trip." Again, simple, remembered, personal. You cannot do this with every customer and every interaction. But when you have the opportunity, personalization transforms a transaction into a genuine human connection. Here are some personalization phrases. "I hope that gift arrives in time for the occasion." Remembered a specific reason for their purchase. "Enjoy your holiday. It sounds like a wonderful trip." Remembered something they mentioned about travel. "Good luck with your project. It sounds like an exciting one." Remembered something they mentioned about work. "Give my best to your family." Very warm, close if family was mentioned. These small phrases cost nothing. They take only a moment, but they leave a lasting impression. Now I want to talk about an area that is often overlooked: how to handle repeat customers. Customers who have contacted you or visited you before. When a returning customer contacts you, and you have access to their history, acknowledge it. "Welcome back, Mr. Hassan. We have your account here. How can I help you today?" This simple acknowledgement, "welcome back," signals to the customer that they are known, that they are valued, that they are not starting from zero every time they interact with your company. "I see you were in touch with us last month. I hope that issue was fully resolved to your satisfaction." This shows continuity of care. You are following up on their previous experience even before they have to bring it up. "I notice from your account that you have been with us for 3 years now. Thank you for your continued loyalty." This kind of acknowledgement is incredibly powerful. It tells the customer that their long-term relationship is noticed and appreciated. Now let me talk about handling the end of a difficult conversation. Not every customer service interaction ends on a perfect note. Sometimes the customer is still unhappy even after your best efforts. Sometimes the problem was not fully resolved. Sometimes the customer needed something that was genuinely beyond your ability to provide. In those situations, how you close the conversation still matters enormously. "I am truly sorry that we were not able to fully resolve this for you today. I want you to know that your feedback is incredibly important to us, and I am going to make sure it reaches the right people within our organization. I understand you are still disappointed, and I respect that completely. I wish I had been able to do more. Please know that your case has been noted, and our team will continue to review it. I appreciate your patience throughout this conversation. I know this was not the outcome you were hoping for, and I am sorry for that. Please know that you are welcome to contact us again, and if anything changes or if there is more I can do, we will be in touch." These closings are honest, empathetic, and professional. They do not pretend that everything is fine when it is not, but they close on a note of respect, care, and openness for the future. Now let me give you something special for this final chapter, a collection of what I call golden closing phrases. These are the most powerful, warm, and professional ways to end a customer conversation. I want you to remember these phrases and use them regularly. It was truly a pleasure helping you today. Please take good care. Thank you for choosing us. We look forward to serving you again. Your satisfaction is our priority, and I am so glad we could help. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you ever need anything. We are always here for you. On behalf of our entire team, thank you for your trust and your business. I really appreciate your patience and understanding today. You have been an absolute pleasure to work with. Thank you. We value your feedback and your continued trust in us. Remember, we are here for you. Do not ever hesitate to ask. Take care and have a wonderful day. Goodbye. These phrases are warm, professional, and humanizing. They do not feel scripted when you say them with genuine feeling. They feel real, and customers feel the difference. Before I close this final chapter, I want to bring everything together with one last complete conversation, a full interaction from beginning to end, using everything we have practiced in this audiobook. Customer walks into a travel agency. Jimmy says, "Good afternoon. Welcome to Horizon Travel. I am Jimmy. Is this your first time visiting us, or have you been here before?" Customer says, "I have been here once before, yes, about a year ago." Jimmy says, "Wonderful. Great to see you again. Please come in and have a seat. How can I help you today?" Customer says, "I want to plan a holiday for my family. We are thinking of Europe, maybe Italy or France, but we have a tight budget." Jimmy says, "How exciting! A family holiday in Europe. That sounds amazing. I would love to help you plan it. Could you tell me a little more about your family? How many people are traveling, and how old are your children, if you have children?" Customer says, "Yes, we have 2 children, 8 and 12 years old. 4 of us total." Jimmy says, "Perfect. And in terms of timing, are you flexible on when you travel, or do you have specific dates in mind?" Customer says, "We are thinking late June or early July because of the school holidays." Jimmy says, "Great. And when you say you have a tight budget, could you give me a rough idea of what range you are working with? That will help me show you the most relevant options." Customer says, "Ideally around $2,000 for the whole trip, maybe a little more if it is really worth it." Jimmy says, "That is helpful to know. I want to be honest with you. A full Italy and France itinerary for 4 people in high season, with flights included, is going to be challenging at that budget. But here is what I can do. I have some really wonderful options for you that focus on one country, either Italy or France, and I think we could put together something truly memorable within your budget, or just slightly above it. That would be absolutely perfect for a family with kids those ages. Would you be open to hearing about those?" Customer says, "Yes, absolutely." Jimmy says, "Excellent. Let me walk you through 2 options and you can tell me which feels more appealing for your family." And from there, Jimmy walks the customer through the options using clear sequencing language, checking for understanding, personalizing the conversation, and leading with what is possible rather than what is not. At the end of the conversation, after they agree on a plan, Jimmy says, "I am so excited for you and your family. This is going to be such a wonderful trip. I am going to send everything we discussed to your email address today, along with the initial price estimate and a booking form. If you have any questions at all before then, please do not hesitate to call me directly. My number is on the card I am giving you now, and I really hope this will be a trip your family talks about for years." Customer says, "Thank you so much. You have been very helpful." Jimmy says, "It was my absolute pleasure. Thank you for trusting us to help plan something so important for your family. Have a wonderful afternoon, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Take care." Beautiful, natural, professional, warm, personal. That is what great customer service English looks like in action. And now, my dear listener, we have reached the end of our journey together. 10 chapters, hundreds of phrases, dozens of real conversations, and all of it designed to help you speak with customers in English with more confidence, more clarity, and more genuine warmth. Let me take just a few minutes to remind you of the most important things we have learned in this audiobook. In Chapter 1, we built your mindset. We talked about the 3 key beliefs. I am here to help, and that is enough. Mistakes are part of learning. Every difficult conversation makes me better. We talked about posture, voice, and tone. And we learned your first set of confidence phrases. In Chapter 2, we learned how to make excellent first impressions. We practiced greetings for in-person, telephone, and online settings. We learned the 4-part telephone greeting structure. And we learned the power of using a customer's name. In Chapter 3, we dove into active listening. We learned verbal acknowledgments, reflection, and empathy. We practiced how to ask a customer to repeat themselves professionally. And we talked about the skill of using context when you do not know a word. In Chapter 4, we mastered the art of asking questions, open questions and closed questions, the funnel technique, how to phrase questions with care and respect, and how to handle sensitive questions. In Chapter 5, we learned how to explain things clearly, the 4-step explanation framework. Tell them what you will explain it, check for understanding, summarize. We learned sequencing language, analogies, emphasis, and pacing. And we practiced adapting our explanations when a customer did not understand the first time. In Chapter 6, we faced complaints head-on. We learned the 4 steps of complaint handling: emotional de-escalation, gathering facts, taking ownership, and offering a solution. We practiced validation language, and we talked about staying calm under pressure. In Chapter 7, we went deep into the language of apology and empathy. We learned the 4 elements of a complete apology. We practiced basic, intermediate, and advanced empathy phrases, and we identified the 4 empathy traps to avoid. In Chapter 8, we focused on solution language. We practiced leading with what we can do. We learned how to make specific, time-bound commitments. We talked about escalation language and creative problem solving. And we practiced being honest about limitations with professionalism and care. In Chapter 9, we covered telephone etiquette, holding and transferring, voicemail, professional email structure, and live chat language. And in Chapter 10, we learned how to close conversations with excellence, the 4-part closing structure, personalization, handling repeat customers, closing difficult conversations gracefully, and our collection of golden closing phrases. That is an enormous amount of knowledge and skill. And I want to say something very sincerely to you right now. I am proud of you for listening this far. Many people start a learning program and do not finish it. You finished. That says something very important about who you are. It says that you are committed. It says that you are serious about getting better. And that commitment and seriousness are more important than any single phrase or vocabulary word. But learning is not a destination, it is a journey. And this audiobook is just the beginning of your journey with customer service English. The real learning happens when you take what you have heard here and you put it into practice in real conversations with real customers. So here is what I want you to do. Starting from tomorrow, and I mean tomorrow, not someday, tomorrow. I want you to pick 3 phrases from this audiobook, just 3. And I want you to use those 3 phrases in your real interactions with customers or with English speakers in your life. Next week, pick 3 more. The week after that, 3 more. Over time, these phrases will become part of you. They will become natural. They will come automatically, without effort. And when that happens, your English at work will transform. And remember the most important thing of all of the vocabulary, all of the techniques, all of the structures we practiced in this audiobook, they only work when they come from a genuine place of care. Care for the customer as a human being, care for the relationship, Care for the trust that exists between a customer and the person who is there to serve them. That care, that is inside you. It was always inside you. This audiobook just gave it a language. I am Jimmy, and this has been the Speaking Reset. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting me with your learning. And I wish you every success in every customer conversation, every professional interaction, and every step forward in your English journey. Keep going. Keep growing. You are doing better than you know. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.